Welcome back to the TNT podcast. Today we have a special guest named Gump Copeland, and she is something of an expert on Oliver. For those of you who know nothing about Oliver, I'm going to allow Gump to inform you with the amount of research she has done. She's going to try to convince my dad that Oliver is in fact real and that it is using other sciences that we don't know about. So, please tell us about the cryptid Oliver.
Okay, so in 1910, William T. Cox published the fanciful bestiary, Fearsome Creatures of the
Did you say
Lumber
1910?
Woods. Yes, 1910.
When was he born?
I don't know, it doesn't say. It says, with a few desert and mountain beasts. Of the many strange and darkly humorous creatures profiled in the book, none are more pitiful than the squonk.
Oliver was not a skunk.
He's not a skunk.
Described as
Tell me what. When was Oliver born?
Oliver was born around 1957 when he was captured in Congo. Oliver was different from, he was a chimpanzee, not a skunk.
Where'd you get this skunk business?
What is a skunk?
I don't know, that's just what it says.
Well, did you not? He walked upright like a human. He was brought by a man named Berger in 1970 because it was believed that he was half human, half chimp. Where did you get skunk?
Hey, I just googled Oliver the Cryptid and this is what it gave me. It said absolutely nothing about a chimpanzee.
Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, if you'll let me freaking talk.
Go.
Goodness. As I was saying, it says, described as a pig-like creature with ill-fitting skin covered in warts and blemishes, the squonk's dominant feature is not so much its implied ugliness, but its self-awareness. The squonk hides from all living creatures and weeps incessantly over its ugliness.
Sounds a lot like you, Gump.
Hey!
No, I was going to say that sounds familiar. Alright, well, this Oliver, the
You
right
don't have to
Oliver,
get on the same page we're on, Gump.
Yeah, this is not the Oliver we were speaking of.
Timmy, tell us about this thing.
This Oliver had a flat face and walked like a man, and preferred human women to female chimps.
Wait a minute.
Yeah?
So, who's sleeping with this monkey?
Women.
They hire prostitutes or something? I mean,
No.
this is getting out of hand already.
No, at least it doesn't cry.
What do you know about this, Gump? You're the expert. Who's sleeping with a monkey?
I don't know.
I mean, obviously this monkey isn't crying excessively over its bad looks.
Obviously.
Oliver obtained a crush on Berger's wife Janet at the age of 16, and they decided to sell him. An attorney named Miller purchased him and exhibited him at a sideshow attraction in California, and then until it closed. At this point, Miller had Oliver advertised around the world as a Humanzee. He eventually ended up a Humanzee.
Oh.
And he eventually ended up being owned by a man named Decru, who owned an animal training center. Decru had problems with Oliver kissing the other monkeys he owned.
Well, of course, naturally.
Right.
I saw that one coming.
Right. And
I can see where they could raise some serious issues. I mean, what did he think was going to happen?
And since Stevie's the expert, I think she could tell us why this is happening. Right?
Oliver must have been one perverted monkey.
Go ahead, Stevie.
Who raised this pedophile?
Apparently the first person that had him.
And you did all the research, so... Okay. From 1989 to 1998, he was owned by a research lab in Pennsylvania, but he was never experimented on. He existed in a tiny cage that caused him to come down with severe arthritis, and at some point, someone had gotten Oliver addicted to cigarettes, and this also affected his health.
Cigarettes?
Right, yeah.
Have you seen the price of cigarettes?
Yeah. They were
What idiot's buying this monkey cigarettes?
He got addicted to it, and then they got him
You
off.
can't make this stuff up. Probably the janitor. And probably the reason the monkey got sick is them cheap generic cigarettes with no filter. A janitor's making $30 a day, and he's spending $7 of that on cigarettes for the monkey.
Anyway, in 1998...
I can hear him on the news now. Well, Oliver was the only friend I had. The other monkey threw poop at me, but Oliver showed me respect.
In 1998, Oliver's health
I
problems.
couldn't wait to get back to work on Monday so we could hang out with my buddy Oliver, discuss the ball game. You were right again, Oliver. 49ers beat the Bears in the Super Bowl. Owe you 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Did they get him off the cigarettes?
In 1998,
Did they get him off the cigarettes?
Yes.
They did get him off the cigarettes.
Yes.
Poor monkey having nicotine withdrawals. I'm sure he didn't have health issues either. Had to have a GoFund. He didn't have. Did he have health insurance?
His health problems actually worsened.
Did he have health insurance? I'm sure he didn't. Probably had a GoFundMe page. Because our monkey's got emphysema and needs a triple bypass before he has a coronary. It's our janitor's fault. And tomorrow on the TNT podcast, we'll be discussing Oliver's drug addiction. We'll interview the zookeeper. He'll say, well, we just thought the monkey was bipolar. One day he'll be down in the dumps, and the next he's bouncing off the bars. Turns out the janitor was buying him cocaine when he could afford it. I worked here for years. I never even saw him smoke a cigarette, much less straw up his nose. You know, giving Monkey a cigarette and a lighter would be like giving Gump a match when she was 4 years old. You wouldn't have a house. You'd just be sitting in a pile of ashes.
Anyways, in 1998, Oliver's health problem worsened, and he was sold to a place in Texas called Primarily Primates to live with 13 other chimps. Then in 2005, PETA forced the facility to close because of the filthy living conditions of the animals there.
Naturally.
You know, an actual good thing that PETA did for once. Primarily Primates was given to another owner, and the living conditions were approved by the state of Texas, and he returned there to live out his life. Oliver, by this point, was bald, partially blind, and unable to play with any of the other chimps, so the owner placed an older female chimp in the pen with him, named Raisin.
Raisin.
He spent the rest of his life smashing watermelons and paintings.
Da Vinci. What do you paint? Bananas?
Oliver died peacefully in his sleep in 2012 at the age of 55. He was cremated and his ashes were spread on the facility ground.
Spread his ashes. Was that his last will and testament?
Well,
Who got it notarized that he wanted that done?
they just...
Probably that low-life janitor put it in his head. Gump, what do you know about this janitor?
Absolutely nothing.
So they burn up the monkey.
Yeah, when he died. When he died, not when he was alive.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So, what was Oliver, you may ask? Well, I'm not
Since
entirely
Gump
sure.
don't know anything
but
about
Gump,
him, maybe you can...
well,
Is this thing a monkey, a man, or a monkey man?
well, I was about to say, Gump's been doing the research, so
Yeah.
she should help shed some light on this. Do you think it's a chimp, man, monkey? What?
I don't know. It just.
Well,
says-
that expert...
That expert really did us some good, man. And of course, his DNA tested at the University of Chicago was discovered that Oliver had 48 chromosomes, which meant he was
Is that
just...
enough?
No, he was just a chimpanzee, that shows. His brain size matched that of other chimps, and further studies suggested that he was just a subspecies of Central African chimpanzee.
Well, he was from Congo.
But there, I would say...
So you can say we closed the book on this cryptid that's not even
Well,
cryptid.
I would say that just because it was leaning more on the side of chimpanzee, that doesn't mean it is just a chimpanzee. It was obviously different for some reason.
Oh, other scientists.
There's other sciences that we don't know about
other
that it
scientists.
could be using in order to seem different.
Looks like a chimpanzee. Acts like a chimpanzee.
It doesn't act like a chimpanzee. It got on cigarettes.
Yeah, and Gump tried to have a skunk smoking a cigarette. I can see the janitor now. I tried to give that skunk a cigarette, but no, he wouldn't smoke it. He
No.
didn't have no thumbs to use a lighter.
I think the skunk needs a cigarette given the fact it cries at its own ugliness.
I guarantee you, if a skunk he'd rather smell a cigarette than he would himself.
Well, this was a rather shorter one, and I think I should ask once more.
Well, wait a minute.
What?
We'd like to thank our special guest,
I don't
Gump.
I don't think we should.
We appreciate all your hard work and research you did for 2 days. And definitely have to have you back sometime. Thank you very much.
Hopefully not. I gotta ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how convinced are you on Oliver the Humanzee?
I'm not, he's a monkey.
So what's that put him on the scale?
0. He's a monkey.
Worse than the previous.
Worse than a skunk. I don't believe in that skunk either.
What do you
with
give
the
this-
warts on his back? Who's depressed and cries all the time.
Didn't
Where'd
s-
you get this, Gump?
Wait,
you can't make that up.
Didn't you read out that it came from a book?
Oh, it had to be real. It's in a book.
Y'all
Us-
told me. Y'all told me
We
to
told
Google. You told me to Google Oliver the cryptid
He is
Not a
cryptid.
Humanzee.
That is a cryptid. We don't know what he is.
How many Humanzees do you see walking around?
Yeah.
Bert?
None, because I've never heard of a Humanzee.
This
And
fucking-
you want us to advertise you as an expert?
You specifically asked to be out as Gump the expert, Gump the genius. But no, it's fine. It's fine. It's whatever.
That poor monkey, all he want to do is get off the smokes.
Well, at the end of the day, I think that this episode was a complete and utter failure. Maybe next episode will be a little better, and depending on the cryptid we choose, we might have Dad convinced on the existence of cryptids.
You say so.
And maybe he'll finally agree there's other sciences we don't know about.